Most of us struggle with how to get things done. As pastors, there's a double challenge for us. On one hand, we have to make sure that we're getting our own work done, managing our own priorities and tasks, and we have to help other people learn how to manage their priorities and tasks as well when they come to us for counsel. These challenges take on more importance as we understand our role as stewards of the time and talent and treasure that God's given us, and as stewards of the time and talent and treasure that God's given to the people that are around us, the people that we're leading. There's some big systems that can help with time and attention management. David Allen is the classic work, Getting Things Done. It's a great system. For me, it's an awful lot of work to do, but some people have found it tremendously helpful, which is an important point. When it comes to managing time and attention and priorities, personality enters in. My personality is not suited to David Allen's. Yours may be. But all of us need to look at different systems, different plans, different tools, and find the ones that work for us, and find ones that can help other people as well. I want to spend a little bit of time talking about 6 tools to help you or your people manage better, managing time and managing attention. The first of these tools is a really simple thing. Do a time audit. Take a piece of paper, and every 15 minutes, write down what you're doing. There are a couple ways to do that. One is you can write down everything you've done for the last 15 minutes. Another is to write down what you're doing at that moment. And you can do it by setting a timer. You can do it by just remembering 15 minutes. There are lots of ways to do it. If you do it for a week, you'll find a couple of things happening. One thing that's going to happen is you're going to get a picture of where your time and attention are going. What are the tasks that you find yourself doing over and over and over again? What are the things that you find that you're never getting to? And number 2, you suddenly become more aware of how you are using your time. Just that little piece of awareness can be an excruciating thing, especially if you find that every 15 minutes you're spending on Facebook or other kinds of things. Number 2, set aside 90-minute blocks of time. I know it's hard to find blocks of time, but as we're working, every time we're interrupted, every time somebody asks us a question, every time somebody says, oh, just a minute, our attention drifts to that. And it takes more time than we spent answering that just a question to get back on task. The idea of taking a 90-minute block of time and spending that time with the phone off, with the internet off, working on a project that we're supposed to be doing, whether it's writing a sermon, whether it's writing a lesson, whether it's preparing for a counseling appointment, whether it's doing Bible study, whatever it is, taking 90 minutes with a timer, unconnected from everything else, and just working on that. We think that the biggest hassle is going to be keeping other people away. What we find is it's really hard to stay sitting for 90 minutes because we find ourselves distracting ourselves. But that 90-minute block of time is just a huge thing. Terry Linhart told me about that. It's just been a huge thing in my life. And if you can use those 90-minute blocks a couple of times a day, a couple of days a week, you'll find that whatever your work is, in those 90-minute blocks, you'll find your concentration and your creativity and your ability to focus growing. Number 3, keep Sabbath. When we take one day a week and we don't do work and we do the things that refresh us, that restore us, we find ourselves more productive the rest of those days. Mark Buchanan's book, The Rest of God, is the best book to look at for that. And so I won't talk more about it here, but keep Sabbath. It's almost as if God knows what we need in terms of our lives. The 4th thing to take a look at is to create a to-don't list. All of us know what it's like to create to-do lists. A to-don't list says that this is what I'm not going to do. Got the idea from a writer named Peter Bregman. And he suggests that we list the things that we won't do, and then we just not do them. I don't get on community boards anymore because I realized that I am a lousy board member. It makes me feel guilty. I'm too much of a perfectionist. I'm great at consulting for people, but I'm better off not getting on the board and being a board member. And so on my to-don't list is don't be a board member. And when somebody asks, I say, I just can't do that. I'll help you in these ways, but I just can't do that. So what are the things that are the to-don't list? What do you know? Sucks energy, makes distractions, whatever. And just have that on a list to remind yourself of this is the thing that I don't do. Number 5, make a list of the 6 most important things. Let me talk about that a little bit. I heard about that from my friend Becky McCrae. Other people have written about it as well. But at the end of a day, you make a list of the 6 most important things that need to get done the next day. You do it at the end of a day when all of them are fresh and you know, oh, this has to get done, rather than first thing in the morning when you can get distracted. And there are a couple of important things about that list. You list only 6. I know there's like 147 things that you got to get done. But what are the 6 that have to get done the next day? And they don't have to be huge. In fact, you're better off if they're not like huge projects like solve world peace. But what are 6 tasks that must get done? What's the letter that must get written? What's the phone call that must get made? So identify those 6 things and do them. And then the next day, at the end of the day, make a list of the 6 most important things. And then the next day, it's important to do it repeatedly till it becomes a habit. The 6th thing I want to suggest is ask God for wisdom. And I know it's an obvious thing, but it's so obvious that we forget. And so as you are auditing your time, as you are setting aside 90-minute blocks of time and looking for those 90-minute blocks of time, as you are looking at ways to keep Sabbath, as you are looking at your to-don't list, as you are coming up with your 6 most important things list, ask God. Ask God to guide you. Ask God for wisdom. Remember in James that James says, if you lack wisdom, ask God. So make that be a part of your time and attention management, specifically asking God for wisdom. It's not just asking God for the solutions. It's asking God to help you through those processes. All right, that's it. 6 simple tools. Pick one, try it for a couple of weeks. If it doesn't work for you, try another one for a couple of weeks. If it doesn't work, try another one for a couple of weeks. What will happen is, as you're looking at these 6 tools, you'll find the ones that help you, and you'll be able to offer counsel for other people with a whole lot more specificity as you come to know how the tools work and as you come to know how their personalities work. Thanks.